Because while she's trying to pull away, you can spin her. So it's like angry arms.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're not rolling, right?
Not yet. You want to change something?
Nope. Is then in here. And it's fucking huge, as we know. Okay.
We have a piano here, or even piano here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first floor.
And
Darkening all the windows. Projectors, see the vision on the wall.
Why bother putting in all that work to end up dull? I'll be minding my business with my blockage, you see.
This is the most insane thing that I've ever done. Yeah. And I feel so honored to have worked with the literal best team in the world.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have done this by myself. So
I don't think any of us could have done it better, yeah, it's an army. It started out being my story, and we can talk about that later if anybody has any questions, but it really turned into everybody's story. So everybody in every room just kind of felt what they needed to feel and told their own story, and I think that's what made it so emotional.
I remember when John came to me in January of last year about this idea. I was like, dude, you're fucking crazy, but this is really cool, let's do it. Don't live here in Erie anymore, so all of our dancers had rehearsals over Zoom, and we had 6 rehearsals. 6 rehearsals, okay? Normally, let me put this in perspective. Have 2 months to do a 3-minute piece, or a 4-minute piece, or a 5-minute. Not an hour, not a 50-minute piece, okay? So I'm very, very proud of them, and I had an amazing team. My assistant choreographer, Hannah Borzon, could not be here tonight. She'll be here tomorrow. I could not have done it without her and Joe Tyson. They dealt with all the technical bullshit and cold and having to run around the building while I was on the other side of the screen.
I was brought in as a writer. I have no theater experience whatsoever, and I just kind of like wanted to do more, and Adele was so kind as to trust what she knew I could do, and got into directing and acting as well. So that's best experience ever.
You know, Casey, Lucky, and Dave, and Aaron are, you know, the staff here at TACA. We kind of have just the four of us really run the entire building.
That's insane.
It's a big space.
Yeah.
And I think it was really a great opportunity for us to use our stuff in our prop room and, you know, our tech stuff. And really was one of the first times we've ever really been able to unify the entire building for an art project. A lot of times things are pretty isolated. People are individual artists, going to their studios doing their thing. But I mean, this was really an opportunity to pull the whole building together, which was a great opportunity. And the first time we really electrified the 5th floor. So it's the first time we had like lights in the ceiling on the 5th floor. Woo! In probably 50 years. But I think that's close to 50 years since there was really lights up there, and we put heat in because it would have been cold.
I appreciated you for that.
That was
Those dancers
Now
are very,
it's
very.
that was a little value added from our side, but we knew you couldn't do without heat.
I hopped on pretty late. I've really just the last couple months, but my title was the production designer. But really, it was taking all of these amazing stories and amplifying the visual, auditory, and tactile components of the show. Oh, yeah! And I have to give a shout out to my core team, my beautiful mother, Jerry. Dick and Dave. And 2 of our lovely volunteers, Rhonda and Terry. Without these 4 people, there wouldn't have been any show. And thank you so much to TACA for pulling out all the stops to make sure not only everything looked good, that guests were comfortable, cast was comfortable, and I think we really pulled off something special here.
I got to sit back tonight and bawl my eyes out at the amazing choreography and performances. I've been sharing the things that made me cry each night.
What made you cry today?
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing, which was amazing, was the first run. I think it was the first run through in here
Oof.
when Curtis was clapped down when you were like tearing into Joe and people were clapping over your dialogue to try and get you to stop. That was amazing. I lost it. I'm like, this is fucking it.
Yeah, take your time. Just make
Sorry.
Sure. It's not like people didn't already pay money to see this. Come on. More passion, princess. I need more passion. Some shining star, where are you? Talk to me. No! No! One center again! Enough!
So everyone started clapping, and I did not know what to think of it, but I did want to cry because I was pretty moved by it. So I'm just like,
And that speaks to like what you were talking about before, this like how certain interactions are gonna go. Like you as an actor going into this, like there are gonna be moments where you can try to interact or interactions will happen. We talked about it before, like our group of people for this particular scene, just because of the nature of how it's set up. There's like I'm usually the one who could probably interact and like the most just because I have free range to kind of like move around. They're kind of stuck in one particular spot. And unless someone comes up to them, they don't really have that. But this particular time tonight, as like I'm already so like mad for whatever reason because I'm just like berating this person. I'm slamming things and just telling her to stop, do it again, do it again, do it again. But we had someone who started to clap, just try to like cheer her on, just like, yeah, just like saying like, no, you're perfect, you're good enough, you're more than enough. So like we had the clapping, and then that in turn allowed for other people to kind of chime in on that, and like. It was
Still told him to shut up though.
No. But like that speaks to that, like how do you go about moving forward with that, because obviously that was their way of like interacting, because they wanted to support this person, but like the scene still has to go on in a way. So what do you do as the person who has to regain control, and as someone who has just been a domineering presence the entire like scene? I was able to command that to an extent, and I can just say, like, just bellow, and just see so many people just like jolt back, and it's like, oh, okay.
So hopefully they felt how I felt.
No, but yeah, it's those kinds of like interactions that you're never truly prepared for, because you never know what's gonna happen. But that's when you have to be an actor, be the performer, and be able to like work with it in a way, and. Yeah, and I thought
about that happening though is it shows you the power of one person.
Exactly.
That one person
100%.
got the whole group to stand up.
I was on the 5th floor for the finale, and I actually followed Michaela from when she drops off Tony and Colleen and is by herself going in the halls, and I followed her whole performance and followed her up there, and like that experience of getting up there with the women was amazing. Thank you.
Is like a representation of both the curator and the ballerina's like memories. Red, I feel like would have guided her more to be a ballerina when she's neither a ballerina or the curator. She is a guide for the memory, basically, of all memories. And if you hadn't noticed, she does hit every single room in this building.
I just noticed the city gallery today. I didn't know that she was coming through there, and I was like,
the dancers on the 5th floor, again, do not represent neither a curator or a ballerina. They represent the trauma. So I wanted to incorporate all of the colors. So it wasn't like one is ballerina or they're all ballerinas, so they all should be in red. But the colors should have are just incorporated up there to represent the overall like umbrella of trauma.
The dance was so captivating, but we did a very slow light transition from red to white over the course of the number. It goes from a red to like a pink, and then white, which what they told me from the beginning was this is to signify the healing, because all of the rooms are like pretty heavy and intense. And
my first request, I was like, we need to have this light.
Oh, I sent this huge list of questions, and I'm like, okay, you gotta break it down. Like, what's the story? What are the elements? What's the most important things? And every answer was like, light, color, light, play with the light. And I'm like, okay.
Did you get some light? I've seen this this Facebook video, and this woman was talking about how people heal from trauma, and she gave this visual of a cup, and it was full of water, and she put a couple of drops of dye in it, and then she had faucet running over it, and the water was going in and coming out the sides. And eventually, it was clear again. But then when you go back and you put double, triple, quadruple the amount of food dye, it's going to take so much longer for the water to go back to normal. So I took that and was like, light.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
It is. The original story, Ballerina in the Rain, the man in the story was colorblind. And the only time he ever saw color when he looked out the window at the ballerina dancing in the rain, and she had a red sash tied around her waist. So it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. So that's where the red came from.
The fifth floor was a gigantic task to get to even being able to.
It was an
Oh
igloo.
my gosh.
Yeah, we had a lot of rentals. Marley came from Sage Dance Collective. And we needed so much Marley. We also got some from the Patterson School of Ballet. And we got lights from R. Frank Media.
I was sitting down and I'm like, who's Marley? Oh,
I know. No one knows what that means, guys.
So Marley, you know, is the floor that goes down because there was no way in hell I was letting those girls dance in socks on that
It was dirty.
dirty floor.
Historic floor.
I never vacuumed it, but it's still like we didn't do anything.
Oh, there's.
You can find a cool video of Jesse losing his mind vacuuming it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, that was great.
Let's make everything else ever. It was great.
He's like, I don't know if you've seen him. He's like,
What is it like?
Yes, that's exactly. She did it. She just reenacted.
this is what I did.
This story was going to live in my journal, and that was it. It really was. So, I got myself into another bad relationship. Really bad. You know, my first day out dating again, and I just made like a worse mistake. And I was struggling with that, and I documented that whole thing, and I said, what the fuck is wrong with me? Why can't I break this fucking cycle, you know? And then I ran into John at a retirement party. And I hadn't seen him in forever, and him and my mom were best friends for like 25 years. And I was just like, in typical fashion, oh my god, you want to hear about my life? What a shit show I am, and all the things that I've been through. And so I'm telling him that, and he's telling me about his experience with Sleep No More and all that. And then he's like saying to me, you know what, like, you should really like come hang out, like maybe after one of my meetings and meet some people that are kind of more like you. And I was like, okay. My mom's like, John's been trying to pull you out forever. Meet some more artistic people. And I went out, and John introduced me as like, I don't even know what you said, a writer, a dancer, a composer. Like, basically, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, I'm like, I am none of these things. He's crazy.
All the things you are.
Oh, it's crazy. But like, I started sharing my story, and then it was like, I don't know, there was like a light bulb moment, and it was like, you gotta tell this story. And I didn't even know if I was ready to tell it, but it was like simultaneously when I met him, and he's like pulling me into this world of these people, and I see people resonating with what I'm saying and like understanding me and also being creative. All of a sudden, I decided that what I was doing in this other relationship, no, I wasn't going to do it anymore. I don't know, like something snapped in me, and I was like, I have to like defend my worth and like stay single for a while and like take care of myself. Like, I'm a fucking nasty codependent who literally just goes in vicious cycles, like dating people that fucking need saved. And I needed to save myself. And so this helped me. And so where I was at the beginning of Tethered, I'm sorry, this is a really long story, but where I was at the beginning is not who I am now. Because at the beginning, I was still a victim. At the beginning, I was still like, oh, woe is me. Like, when am I ever going to break the cycle? At the beginning, I was still journaling, trying to figure my shit out, right? Then I get here, and as I'm meeting all these people, and I remember sitting in meetings just like in awe of like these creatives around me. I'm like, God, you're fucking beautiful. Like, what? Your mind. I love watching people's brains work. Like, when they just start ticking, like, it's great. And I was like, wow, these are my people. And then people were resonating with the story, and I was like, okay, like, I'm not alone. Everybody has this story. This is everybody's story. This isn't just my story. Same story being told over and over, just in different ways. And it just grew. and grew and grew and became this collaboration. And all of a sudden, I started to find forgiveness and acceptance. And I started loving myself again. And I started being like, yeah, do some shit for me for once. You know, like, I don't need to take care of anybody anymore. I don't have to, like, you know. And that was quite a journey.
I made a Facebook post and said, hey, who would be interested in being involved with Tethered? And like 40 people were like, yes! And then I picked from those people. Well, I knew what I wanted each scene to be. So I looked for the people that I thought would fit each of those scenes the best. So, you know, when it came to the bathroom scenes, John and I had talked about, like, we need Colleen because she's the best screamer in the universe.
Yeah,
So, like,
yo.
Oh my God.
Three class like that.
Wow. Each person really was selected for the fact that I knew that they could do the best at what they're doing. And I also wanted to challenge people. Curtis is like the sweetest human being on the planet. Tony is literally the nicest human being I've ever met. Like, JJ wouldn't hurt a fly. Like, and I was like, hey, you're gonna be horrible. And it was so much fun writing these horrible characters. And then knowing that the nicest people I know were gonna, like, be challenged, but they were gonna do it. And it was so exciting to watch them have to be people they would never be, ever. And I think that was, kind of, I hope, eye-opening for the guys who had to do that. Like, this is what women have dealt with. This is my story. This is Kristen's story. This is Nikki's, like, we all took parts of our own experiences and put them into, whether it was lines or voicemails or notes or whatever, because this is what we've experienced. And these are people who have, they would never know how to portray these things because they've never experienced it. So I really wanted to challenge people, but I picked people that I knew could do it. And everyone fucking crushed it.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud. I'm so proud.
We should say that Nisi had barely any time in a vacant role that occurred like last minute and stepped in and
The time spent outside of me between Kristen and Adele and whoever else that they contracted to get me together and the confidence, because I'm telling you, I wasn't sure, but I was pushing through. I can hardly see those who don't see me. I welcome peace. I need safety. Harmony. Nobody harming me. the drama farthest from me. See, people, some just won't like you for no good reason. Everyone has a preference, every relationship a season. Some won't appreciate you. They can't catch your vibe, their confidence. It is shattered. They're too filled with pride. And some just can't stand you. Or the air that you breathe, the spaces that you light up, dim down once you leave. Some just won't like you because of all you can do. You excel at many trades and they've only mastered a few.
I'm curious to know what goes through your mind as everything is going on, and then how every performance changes for you. Like what happens for you? What goes through your mind? Like obviously, I know, again, I was there when we were given the notes and things like that. But what is your process? What does that look like for you?
I just can't believe that you're still at it. Like, I'm like, God, damn it, fucking yelling at me.
That's fair.
Just like,
That's fair.
love it. Joe, let it out. Like, the dancing part was the easy part. For
Yeah.
Me, so it's all the other stuff that.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Oh, Joe, it breaks my heart. And I was like, you were crying. You're acting so.
Oh, my
feet hurt.
She told me that. She told me that. I said, use it.
Yes.
Use it.
The growth.
Did you have a question?
That was actually the question I was gonna ask Joe. I just want to give you your flowers for a second. Like I've known you for a minute now, and I've never seen you flourish in a role so well, and just to see you push your boundaries and to see you become more than just a dancer. Yes, you were an artist before, but just adding this into your wheelhouse has been such an incredible thing to watch. And you were so talented. And I couldn't have casted someone better.
Well, thank you for thinking of me for the term, because I wouldn't have thought of myself. So
It was definitely there.
nobody else could have done that.
No one else could. When I think about the first time I ever watched to now, it's incredible. I was just I walk in. She's next. I'm gonna die. Seriously, that evolution was insane.
It was challenging, but really, honestly, what helped was the women involved telling me their experiences. I mean, that's what helped. So, I won't mention anybody's stories or anything, but people shared with me. Obviously, Nikki shared her story, and other people shared. And I literally, some of the stuff that you hear me verbalize and hear me say is taken from stuff that was specifically told to them in a bad experience. Some of the verbiage I literally just stole. This is something that was said to me. This is the way this person went at it. I had to pick their brains. All the creative women involved here, I had to pick their brains. And I don't think I would have been able to find it. It wouldn't be as authentic if I wasn't able to do that. So it really, and it's tough. It really is tough to stay channeled into that character, especially for 3 hours. Especially when you know that these actions have hurt people that you're close with. That sucks. But it has been just a tremendous experience. But really, the credit's got to go to all the women that are involved here that have shared their stories. That's what I have.
Yes, I echo all of that. I also would venture to say that the amazing group of people that we work with created the safe space for us to be able to delve into these characters, because when you are playing a character that is so far different from you, but you have to draw from some kind of place to make it authentic. You would hope that drawing from, like, you would hope that it wouldn't be easy for you to draw from these places of being so horrible and demeaning and just gross human being to another person. But when you have people who are willing to laugh with you and joke with you and make you feel less of a shitty person and say, hey, it's okay, I know this isn't you, this is just what is being asked of you, that helps tremendously. And you can't help but to feel as though that, yes, you're playing an actor, you're playing a character, but there's still something like, I'll speak for myself personally, I tend to deal with character bleeding a lot. If you don't know what character bleeding is, it basically is like when you get into like a character so deep, or you're getting into a character, you start to find yourself becoming them, or the character becoming you in certain ways. And so when people are saying, you're gross, you're awful, this is nothing, I want nothing to do with you, or like I hate you. Now, obviously, I can think rationally, they like, clearly they're not talking about me, but when you're trying to portray this character honestly, you can't help but to feel that in some kind of way. And that's why having a tremendous, caring, scene partner, Joe, thank you so very much. Thank you. No, seriously, it's gotten to a point where I'm sure I'm constantly checking in with her, and she's like, dude, I'm fine. Leave me the fuck alone. No, but in all seriousness, though, like when you have that strong support system, you're able to delve into that and not feel like this isn't me. This is just a character that I'm playing, and I'm just tremendously grateful for the opportunity to do something that I've never done before, and just to work with so many talented, amazing people.
Yeah, to add to that too, today was alright, but yesterday was our first time running through it 3 times with a small sample audience, and that affected me more than I expected it to. I had a bit of a rough night last night, like when I got home, and I didn't really know why. It took me a while to figure it out, but it was great to be able to have that to prepare for what it's going to be. Like today, I feel okay because I was more prepared for how I was going to feel throughout and afterwards. Why are you? Where are we? I remember this Christmas. I remember this. This was I want to say one of the best. So how? Yes. I could have been a pretty good ball player if, she kind of messed some things up for me too, Right? Am I right? That's why you're showing me this. To show me that it was better before her, right? That's why you're showing me this? Is it? Because, you can see my life wasn't always a mess. It wasn't always a mess. And to also to play off what Curtis said too, yeah, I agree. Being able to act with somebody, Colleen's a dear, dear friend of mine. And so when you have that, someone that you feel safe with, and you know that she's okay, hopefully, then it does make it easier.
Yeah, yesterday was the first time seeing her cry during anything. I was like, God, why?
More passion, princess.
I kind of, with my bro character, I kind of get to fill in the gaps of all the other assholes that kind of add to the assholery of the main guy. I mean, because there's always you have that antagonist in your life, but there's always those other factors that, like, no, it's not as bad as it seems. You're making it way bigger than it is in your head. Like, he's actually really cool, blah, 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 blah. So I kind of filled in those gaps and hated myself throughout the entire...
Oh my God, gonna cut me off. Like, I've been backing him up the entire fucking time. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Can you believe that, though? Like, I held up my end of the bucket. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? It's really fucked up. It's really fucked up because I knew what I needed to do.
Me and Jassy kind of like made ourselves the enablers in
Like,
We were the bystanders, but we were people
Yeah.
pushing
Yeah, that's a
and
good.
enabling
That's a good.
the bad behavior.
I mean, for anyone who's been in, whether it's an abusive relationship with someone who's physically abusive or, you know, if they're an alcoholic, there are always people on the periphery who either have your back or they have the other person's back. And it's so hard to get out of a situation when there are people who have that person's back.
And I was trying to tell her, I was doing like what I needed to do to back her up. But like at some point you gotta realize like no, this is really fucked up. Like you can't be playing with me. Like you know what I mean? And that's why I was probably
That's super good. Yeah.
And when we were creating like these bro and sis characters, we were talking about like who should we name them and blah blah blah. And I said, why don't we keep it as bro and sis, so that whoever's in here can put themselves into that part. Like I've been an enabler at one point, or I might have been a support system, and maybe I shouldn't have said this, or maybe I should have said that.
Yeah.
So I asked, I was like, why don't we just keep it blanket names, bro and sis? And if you identify with bro, well then you need to work on some stuff. You know, if you identify with sis, well keep doing what you're doing, because we obviously need more people like you in this world.
There is a reason that the person who is comforting her and trying to stand up for her is a man. Because
About that. Yeah.
that is so important that we see a man being an ally and having her back. Because in other scenes that is not the case at all. And I really wanted to show, like, we're not saying all men are evil. Like, we're not saying that. And I did not want people to think that that's what we were saying.
No, but there are able people.
There
and
sure
are people
are.
subjected to them who need an ally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
More to you, SafeNet did come the night of the dress rehearsal, and they said a lot of general things, but the one thing that they were very clear on is that your role, they were so glad that they saw that role.
Yeah.
They were like, we need to see men being allies for women. We needed to see that because after seeing all this other stuff, that was like a relief. And then SafeNet pointed that out as a very specific scene.
In all seriousness, before we got started, he was like, because he had probably been listening to it for as long as he was actually starting to play some of the piano from like, I was like that, and I was just like, are you fucking kidding me?
So he's the guy's the bass, you know?
The guy's the bass and she's everything else.
He's wooing her. You have like literally 1,000 symbols to choose from.
Technology.
Yeah, it's like going to Walmart for the first time. he's just having these waves of like outbursts, followed by, oh man, what have I done? So this is him asking for forgiveness and her crying.
And I just remember repeating this mantra the whole time. On the other side of fear is bliss. And that's what got me through that whole day. Because I knew once I took that leap, that literal leap, that I was gonna feel so liberated and blissful and free. And it was all true.
So for anyone that followed my scene, I cried the whole time for 3 hours, and it was very real tears every second of this show. And it's funny because I have been made fun of my entire life for being super overly emotional, huge crier. That's just who I am, and it's always been a bad thing to me. And it worked in my fucking favor tonight. And it was I don't want to say easy, but for me, it was just time traveling to a time in my life that was, well, several different times in my life that were very bad. And I was able to just pull from like, oh yeah, like that horrible thing, cry about that. That horrible thing, cry about that. Tell a whole room full of people about your abusive ex-boyfriend. They don't know that you're acting, but you're actually telling them a real story. So yeah, like everything I was saying was a real story. And that's why all the tears were real. And yeah, I was able to be authentic. So it was really cathartic, and just such a, like, I feel like I shouldn't be able to cry anymore, but like that's never gonna happen. But like I was so scared that I was gonna like dry up and just be like numb and like not be able to do this by tonight. I was really fucking nervous. I know you're laughing.
Because she said that yesterday. She's like, after the dress rehearsal Thursday, I think I'm all, I'm immune to this now. And then yesterday happened.
Right. Yeah. All I needed. Well, it was funny because like, I know everyone probably has like a song that like they can't listen to because it'll make them cry. Because it'll make them remind them of something. I have 2 songs that like I absolutely can. If I hear it in a restaurant, in a bar, anywhere, like I have to leave the room. It's like one of those songs. And yesterday and today, I was afraid I wasn't gonna be able to get those tears up, and I played that in the car and just ugly fucking cried the whole way here. Like cars are driving, like Jesus Christ! Just mascara everywhere. Just showed up with my like shitty makeup,
which I thought you did on purpose. And so you told me, no, I wrote on the way.
That's where
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
And when I heard the script for the first time, which was Friday, I was like, shit. I was like, who's screamed this? I think it's Pipes Girl. Second of all, like with improv and stuff with dance, usually you try and utilize anything that you can either think of or anything that's around you. So when I heard the script, I said, okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna like guttural, like breathe and stuff. So like using that as an influence into dance and stuff.
I think what changed the most is like the integrity of what you're doing. Because when I was learning the choreography and stuff, I was like, okay, choreography, like this is how I always plan. So I'm like choreography, and story comes later. But this was difficult because it was so connected to the story, and you tried to keep that integrity of the story while you were learning. But then again, you were also on Zoom, so it was like a lot of things. But I think Friday, like I literally was like crying on that Marley. It was just so powerful. And even though I never experienced something like this, I can have full empathy for people who have, because of how powerful the story is, and also just like the movement of itself. It was just so like guttural, you know?
Yeah. The interaction with me sometimes dissipates quickly because they just run away. And they're like, oh, that guy's scary.
Because you guys make people really, really uncomfortable.
We do. I've noticed that.
Either I've been through it, or I might have not been that person and I'm not ready to face it.
Yeah. So I had a few instances today where there were people in the room with me, and as I am venting or being nasty, I can feel the uncomfortableness, specifically with some of the women, and they just have to leave. And I saw that quite a few times.
So did any of them call you out?
What do you mean? That's not true. I don't even drink it. No, I don't. I'm just hanging out on my yacht right now. All right, you know what? Last chance, and I won't call you again. Fuck you.
10 minutes, he said.
I'm sorry?
10 minutes, he said.
Yeah, well, she's clearly going through some stuff, which I knew. just thought I would offer a helping hand, you know? Never appreciates me. Shit. Why hasn't she called? Yeah.
I feel like
I got into a couple arguments
if
today.
I had been a participant, I feel like I would have said something to both of you about what's wrong with you. You're treating this person like this.
And it's probably easier, like, I haven't seen your scene much, but I think it's probably easier in my situation because I'm in a room by myself. They feel more like I can interject right here because you're just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
So I did get into a few arguments.
Yeah, and speaking to more like the human nature side of it, how many times have we seen something like that going on? We've been too afraid to say anything at all. But exactly, but like you know that it's wrong, but like you just don't feel like you're in a position to say something. I feel like that can very much play into why people were afraid, like why people would be afraid. It's very easy to say like, oh, if I was there, I would have done this. Until you're put in that situation, it becomes very different.
Like I just kind of stream of conscious, right? Like, and it tends to be a lot of the same things, like just kind of describing. And I've also like had that almost be an interacting, like what's going on and like what I'm feeling, like, and then so if somebody happens to see it, they get that. Then one of the at one point, I think around when the gifts start, I give gifts to the people who give to Ballerina, and like I wrote down, how can I make her stay? And I left it like at my desk thing, and I came back after I myself tried to go deliver like a necklace and rejected and heartbroken. I come back and somebody had wrote, "You can't."
Oh.
I loved it though. I was like, yes.
You got to see. I didn't get to see that, so thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. He took that piece of paper. He crossed it up.
Yeah, I threw it. I was like, "Rip."
So I was here last night, and I had messaged Nikki. I was like, I have to come back again because last night I was so tripped up. So I come from an abusive. I have a PFA against my husband. I go through a lot of stuff in my life, and what triggered me more than anything was you in the ballerina, because I trauma bonded instantly. I felt bad for you, and I was so stuck on that.
Who do you point to?
Ballerina on the right. Yes, you.
Riley.
The guy.
Me.
Yes.
JJ.
I was so stuck, and I was crying, but because of you, I felt sad for you, and I was so mad at myself because I'm like, this is what I get stuck in. I get stuck in that trauma bond that I feel bad for the person, and so when you had given me the flower and stuff, I was so pissed that I gave it to her. And I wish I would have told you no and not gave her it. And I was so fucking mad at myself. So then, and I left that, and I'm like shaking because I was so angry in that moment. And then tonight, I watched you, and I trauma bonded for a minute, and then I got raged by you because then I went up to your memory hall, and then I saw, and it triggered me like of why I don't want to be with that person anymore. And so I ended the night then coming back to you, and I hid my bracelet because I was like, I am not being part of it. I'm not going to. And I was watching yourself. I would not look at him the whole entire time, and I watched her the whole entire time. I refused to even acknowledge him. That's amazing. So I just wanted to say, like, I can't even express, like, because that's where I've been tripped up so much with my stuff. Is that trauma bond, and for you guys to have played that out so well in the positive one, because I mean I still love him, and you know, and I still have feelings for him, and whatnot, but at the same time you ended like just the way you tied everything in, it was just amazing.
I think that was one of the most important things for us to show was that like this is it's not just like, oh, a terrible person and then that's the end. Like there can be hope, there can be like what Malma's and like what you said, he's trying to clean himself up. Like, in Ballerina in the Rain, like at the end, I don't know if anyone got to see what he wrote on the notebook, but he releases her. Like, I understand that I cannot control you, and I release you, and it is so beautiful because there needs to be that representation of it. It can be okay, not together, but he can be okay, and the hope needs to be there for that person, but it doesn't depend on her doing it.
And
That's also still there to read.
I was gonna say, and to that, if you read the original Ballerina and the Rain story, that's how it ends. I mean, it ends on, you know, he finally gets up the courage to go up to her and he's like, you know, why are you doing this? Like, why? And she answers him and then he goes, I love you. And she goes, I know, and walks away. Like he's like, I love you, but he was willing to let her go. I mean, he wrote that from rehab. Like, that's what that original story was all about. So what you're seeing here was really written by a man in rehab that was like, I have to get my life straight. I have to let it go.
We also put a lot of thought into the things that were written or thrown on the floors or pictures that were printed out or like just little things like that I know it feels weird to like walk up on a stage and pick up a piece of paper and read it because like that's not something you would ever do at a theater. You never do that. And so asking people to come up and do that, I know it made people uncomfortable. So like thank you to our volunteers and our hosts for kind of pushing people. As you know, if I was an audience member, I'd be like, oh my god, I can't go up on that stage. Oh my god, I'd rather die. But like, we needed people to feel comfortable enough to do that. So I think by like the third time we did it, people like got it a little bit more. Like, yes, get involved. Like, go, like you know, if you go into the ballerina's dressing room, like there are notes and there are love letters, and like yes, read them. And you know, in the Ballerina and the Rain scene,
I had a fucking house party this week.
you
It was
really,
so hard to get.
oh my god,
Behind.
I want to, like, Corinne sat down in his chair and I was like, yes,
Papers.
yes, like that made me so happy. So I hope maybe, you know, the next time we do this, we find a way to really encourage people to do that because we put a lot of work into what all these little things were.
Anytime you find a pen and a piece of paper, use it.
Yes.
I have another one, but everybody that's been a part of this would know this, but the people that are not, like, in this every single day wouldn't know that in my song, the voicemails that are playing behind, if you pay attention, are my ex-husband, when he used to call me, like, obsessively when he was drunk. So they just run underneath the song and then they peek through. And so that is something nobody would know unless you're probably at this event. Like I'm saying outside of the Tethered crew, that those are actual real voicemails. That I fucked up.
That's cute.
He had no idea. It's a cute. He had no idea where he was. I didn't know where he was either. We didn't know where he was for when he said that. He's just like, I fucked up, and it was just every 30 seconds phone calls. So I just ran him underneath the song and only peeked him when he needed to be there.
That's really funny. Someone is actually like during the first run of the performance. I don't know who they probably they said that that's his voice that you can hear. So someone knew.
Oh, yeah. Somebody, yeah.
Someone that knows. There's a section. We call it the Rio section because I don't know if you guys know, but in Rio there's a statue of Jesus. He's just like
yes.
So
Yes. That Rio.
Rio, yeah. I have dancers upstairs. They're standing on chairs like this. They're holding it forever.
I was like, oh my god, their arms have to be so tight.
It's okay. We do some arm exercises beforehand. I noticed that. It's throughout every section. And I think that resonated with like both wanting to give up and hope. So I wanted to make sure that was tied in throughout the entire show at the same time. They all do that at the same time, at the same point in the show.
Because there are so many things that happen at the same time that are purposefully happening at the same exact time.
Right.
And but you will never see that because you cannot be everywhere at the same time. And that, I think for me, is the hardest, knowing that like, we put all this work into, okay, everyone's gonna do this at this time, but no one will see it, but that's okay.
So in my professional life, I worked with victims of domestic violence, and I will say that watching people's faces when I was trying to shut this down, it was really intriguing to me because you could see recognition in a lot of people's faces, but I also feel like it was a message of hope that you can't shut it down. You can stop it where it starts. You can change things, and this was like just a really amazing experience as an actor to be part of something that was so profound.
Yeah, that's amazing.
For me, I talked about this last night with Jesse and John. So, no, for me, it was amazing to see all these people come in from their 9 to 5s after a full day of just working their butts off, slaving away, doing what they need to do to just get by, to then come in here and connect with everyone and put their hearts out on their sleeves and just create. And I realized my 9 to 5 is what I do to survive. Art is what I do to live. And so to have the opportunity to get to do that with this amazing group of people, with people who have lent their stories and their emotions out to that, I'm just forever grateful, and I never want to stop creating. Because if I need to cut back on anything, it's the things that aren't fulfilling me in here, and not just here. So I've definitely gotten out of it.
Well, for me, it was working with all these amazing people and learning that I had to really be a different type of person to do this role, right? I'm not really a touchy-feely type guy, and I had to do this with Laura, who I'd never worked with before, and I just had to creep her out enough, and it was hard for me to do, but I could do it, and I just learned that that's not who I am, so it's good, you know what I mean? I'm not that type of person, and I don't mean to so. But it's just an amazing experience, it really was.
So what I got out of it, I think maybe I was too naive to realize how many people have been affected by these types of traumatic events. And when I was trying to find the character, which was a struggle in the beginning, as I said, some of the females involved were helping me out and sharing their experiences. And in the process of doing that, it was eye-opening. How intense some of it got, and just realizing how common it is. I think maybe, like I said, maybe I was too naive to that. So that's been an eye-opening experience. So I took that out of it probably more than anything else. And outside of that, I mean, any chance I get to work with these wonderful people, I always enjoy it.
So for me, it's been a roller coaster, because like I mentioned earlier, this was me just kind of time traveling, and just being a past version of myself, and I actually am a recovering alcoholic, and so playing an active alcoholic again was, I mean, I literally hit like every fucking trigger I've ever had in my life in this show. Reliving an mentally abusive relationship. And my story was, in a lot of ways, very similar to Nikki. So when I met her, it was like just this instant, I hope you felt the same. Instant bond.
We have no idea.
Instant bond. And I guess I didn't realize how much I never dealt with some things. So having to relive that time of my life was one of the hardest things. And not only relive one of the hardest times in my life, talk about it in front of a fuck ton of I'm sorry, I keep swearing. I'm so
But now we gotta clean it up.
I forgot what the rules were. But yeah, but having to relive that and act it out in front of strangers and people that I'm very close with and have known my stories, this was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but in like the best way possible, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So I feel like it's crazy because I go home at night and like now I live alone with my cat that I shared with that partner. That was like our pet we had together. And like I just come home and I just cry tears of joy, like thank fucking God I'm not living that life anymore. Like now I have this life that I really, really appreciate and love. And it makes me feel really grateful. So thank you.
I think to piggyback off of that, just hearing everyone just talking about like what they went through, how they're using certain things to become better, to make something more. I think actually, for those of you who may not know, that we had the opportunity to leave like these little notes around, and I had a feeling that this was going to be like based on what I was hearing and seeing how people are using their trauma, using the things that they didn't like about themselves to create something beautiful. I think really inspired me to write something down here, and I'd like to read it out if I may.
Wonderful.
Clay can often be seen as dirty, insignificant, and worthless. However, an artist can see what potential it has to be great. Yes, that clay will be soaked, broken, and put under pressure, walked all over, but all to be molded into something magnificent. It will even go through the intensity of fire and heat, but it comes out solid and strong at the end. Even after all of that work of art, if that were to break under pressure or somehow fall to pieces, it can still create a beautiful mosaic from the remains. An artist knows that there is power in perspective and the importance of recognizing that things are not happening to you, but for you.
Oh, I love that.
For me, this was way more intense than I thought it would be, and maybe some of the dancers will feel the same way. Usually, if we're asked to do something, it's we got this. We're just gonna do some moves, and that's it. But I was tricked, and I had to act. It was very challenging. But I appreciate that, and it was. My dance was like 3 minutes long, but over the last 2 days, I did it 36 times, which is insane to do. And when you kept yelling at me like be perfect, I'm like, oh my God, that's what I tell myself all the time. You don't have to do that. So I feel like just personally being in the scene, I learned a lot from that. And thank you for pushing me to do something that I don't think I would have ever done had I known fully what was going to happen.
So we'll see you next time.
I was also kind of tricked. In dance, it's very like, you do this at this time, and it has to look like this, and it has to be perfect. But I think this was like a lot of improv, and it was very like uncomfortable for me. And I actually had quit dance like a few years ago, and I was never gonna do it again. But I'm sorry, I'm crying. I got asked to do it again, and I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Before we go on, I just want to say, Riley, the growth I saw in you.
Oh,
Just even in the last week, I cannot even believe. I don't know where it came from, but you just changed.
It was
and it
huge.
was beautiful to watch you.
It was huge.
I'm crying.
No, just like I kind of said before, this is like the hardest thing I've done, and I feel so not very religious anymore, but blessed to like be a part of this and to work with one of my best friends, like someone I've known for what 15 years. Damn. And just people I'm just now becoming more like friends with and family and just strangers, but like we've grown up like just going for real close over this, and I'm just so happy to have been a part of this. Thank you, everybody.
Dance is what I do for college. I'm a dance major right now. Times are scary because art is not funded, and doing things like this, you do them for fun more than you do them for money. But like I I like echoing off what everyone said. Like, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you so much. Like, this is what I want to do. I'm Mr. Prime too. Oh my god.
It's okay to feel sad.
I think what I took away from this is just like community overall. Like, so many people went into this, and like I was asked like in December by Hannah, because we knew each other from like the Nutcracker. Like that was like the connection, and she was like, "Do you want to do this thing? It's with this choreographer from New York City." And I was like, "Oh my god! Like any opportunity I'll get, like, I will take it with open arms." And I am just so glad I did. This was such a fun experience. I mean, dance is my job, but it's also therapy. Like it's such a beautiful thing, and art is so beautiful. And holy shit! I love what I do, and I wish I could have saw all you perform so bad.
Same.
I wish I could just.
These panels have been great because I've been able to hear whatever.
We need this.
Yeah. But, yeah, just very, very grateful for this experience, and love art and love this entire place. We're all amazing, and congratulations, everybody.
Thank you.
How did you guys have the stamina to do it not only one time, but a second time?
Is that what that's called?
I know my life more. Service has issued a civil danger warning in your area. Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately.